Hello everybody, this is Ginger Roars coming at you with another guide slash review video for dungeons in Last Epoch. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so Last Epoch has 3 dungeons. Your first dungeon is Lightless Arbor. Your second dungeon is Soulfire bastion. And your third dungeon is Temporal Sanctum. Alright? You can get these unlocked via playing the campaign, or you can find keys around the world from random monster drops, or you can target farm them in the monolith, just like I described in my arena video. Go check it out. Alrighty, we are going to go through each dungeon, and I'm going to give you a basic overall guide to it. I'm not going to tell you how the mechanic works. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and figure it out for yourself, so that way I don't spoil it for you. Alright, so first we're going to go ahead and head to Lightless Arbor. So just like in the arena key, you just right click and it brings you there. If you don't have this waypoint unlocked, you're going to have to go to the nearest surrounding waypoint and make your way up to the dungeon. Alrighty, just like in the arena, it kind of gives you this little loading zone prior to going into the dungeon. So I want to make sure that I have the key. So I have the key. If I don't, I usually store it in my chest here. I just have a whole stash tab of keys that I keep, and then kind of maybe some gear that I think is cool, but it is what it is. Alrighty, and then I gotta make sure, let's get my pets out here. Alright, make sure we're ready to go. Alrighty, so just like in the arena, there'll be like an entrance portal, or in this case, the dungeons have a door. And same kind of concept. You gotta put the key into the slot, and then hit enter. And then just like the arena, it's gonna have tiers. Alright, so you're gonna have tiers 1 through 4. So for Lightless Arbor, I'm on tier 3, which is level 88, and you can see that tier 4 is level 100, and it gives you kind of a little bit of modifiers when you go in. So we're just going to do tier 2, so you guys can kind of see what this is all about. Alright, we're going to go through, and you guys see how I have this little flame here? Alright, it's kind of like, I never played Path of Exile, but people compare it to being a delve, like the Endless Delve, where you have to stay in the light to damage players, alright? That's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. Alrighty? Alrighty, let's go ahead and move on to our second dungeon that Last Epoch has, which is Soulfire Bastion. So once again, we're going to right click on our key. It's going to take us there, and if you don't have the node unlocked, go ahead and travel to the nearest node that you can and make your way up to the dungeon. Alrighty, once again, we're going to load into kind of like this pre-area. You have access to your stash. You kind of have this guide right here. He kind of tells you what's up, what you're going to go through. Maybe gives you some secrets on the mechanic right here. And then we're going to click this door. Same thing. We're going to put the key into the little slot. We're going to hit enter. And as you can see, we have 4 tiers again. Just like Lightless Arbor, goes up to level 100. And has a modifier. Alright. And each dungeon that I'm showing you is going to get harder in difficulty. So Lightless Arbor is like the easiest one, and then Soulfire Bastion, and then our next dungeon, the Temporal Sanctum, is going to be like the hardest dungeon if you kind of had it like tier rate the dungeon difficulties. But the tiers 1 through 3 you should be able to blow through pretty quickly. Alrighty, so we're going to do tier 2 because that's all I have unlocked here, and that's the highest. If you notice how it said tier 2 was level 75 here, where it was like level 40 or 55 in Lightless Arbor. So anyways, as you can see, your mechanic for all the dungeons are going to be, the hotkey is going to be D. Alright, so you guys can see that I have kind of a shield here. Alright, I'm not going to tell you how to use it. I'm going to let you guys discover it. But basically, you need to go through and you need to use this shield to your advantage based on the enemy type that you are fighting. Alrighty. So, with that being said, we're going to move to our third and final dungeon, which is going to be the Temporal Sanctum. And there's some things in there that become very important for the end game. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and open our inventory. We're going to hit the Temporal Sanctum key. It's going to take us here. Alrighty, once again, if you do not have this node unlocked, you need to go to the Imperial area. And you need to go to the Shining Cove or the nearest node and go through this little temporal rift. Alright, this kind of key and kind of a hint about what this dungeon kind of has in store for us. Okay, as you can see, once again, as we load in, we have access to our stash. We have a little guide here, right here. It kind of gives us a background about the dungeon. And then we have our door, right? Same thing here. Insert the key to the door. We have our 4 tiers. You notice how tier 2 is level 80. It starts at level 80, and then Soulfire Bastion was 75. You can see how it keeps going up and up and up. All right. So we're going to go ahead and enter the dungeon. And as you can see right here, the D hotkey is now the dungeon mechanic. Alrighty. So with this dungeon, all right, you have to use that mechanic, which is like a time warp mechanic. All right, I'm not going to tell you how to use it. You kind of saw a little bit there how to use it. So that's kind of the mechanic in this right here. So on top of that, this dungeon is the dungeon that you're going to want to spend probably the most time doing, because at the end, if you see, you'll have items that have, let me see if I have it on here after I get done here. You'll have items that have, you know, you'll see legendary potential. Okay, cool, I do. All right, so you see how on my necklace, once I get this guy down, all right, you see how I have legendary potential on my necklace. It says 2. It's right underneath the 14% in cast speed. All right, so what that is going to do is that's going to mean like when I get a purple item, I can merge the two together, and I'm going to get random 2 affixes from the purple item, and then I get to choose to put it on to this legendary item, right? So at the end, that's kind of your reward, and I'll show you guys here how that kind of, where that system is and how it kind of works, all right? So on top of that, you can't take a level 100 item and do tier 1 in this dungeon and do the legendary potential mechanic. You have to be at the level of the item for it to work. That is a key element, and I'll give you that little pro tip, alrighty? So, with that being said, those are the 3 dungeons in Last Epoch, and I hope you enjoy them. My experience through these dungeons is that I found they were super fun, and I loved how each one had a different mechanic, and each boss at the end felt like an actual end boss in a dungeon that had its theme. So I really enjoyed that. So I hope this becomes like harder and a more prevalent system in Last Epoch for its future. It's also a great side break from the monolith in the arena. Like, it just gives you another thing to just kind of like give you that traditional like instance feeling, like in WoW, when you want to go in and just kill a big bad boss. You know, that's kind of what these dungeons are, and they feel great. All right, with that being said, that's the end of the video, and I wish you guys good luck. Ginger Wars out. With a spirit, fierce and bold.